Hey everyone, welcome to Smash Trivia. I'm your host, Smash Trivia John. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram by searching Smash Trivia to follow everything happening with me. I'll be the one with the big old green head in the profile picture. So excited to get into this. This is the Gamma Analysis. Basically, in this series, I'm gonna review everything Hulk, all the movies, TV shows, and I also do random other geeky films. Occasionally, not so geeky ones too. And I also like to mix things up once in a while by not reviewing anything. Hope you enjoy Smash Trivia Presents The Gamma Analysis. I want to ask everyone listening if they can please do something for me. Please share the hell of this podcast with all your friends. If you don't, Hulk will be angry. Now that we have all that important stuff out of the way, let's smash right into this episode. Hello, my Gamma friends. Today I'm gonna review Bottoms, and I'm joined by Pete from the Middle Class Film Class podcast. How you doing, Pete?
I'm doing just fine, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. Excited to talk about this film. This is a film I have wanted to talk to. Well, I haven't really thought about talking about, but I have wanted to watch since it came and I'm glad that I finally got a chance to watch it because of you suggesting it. And I love raunchy comedies, so this is right up my alley, and this was also super unhinged,
Oh
which I
yeah.
also really love when films are like that.
hmm
So this was I really enjoyed this. Um, what do you think of this film?
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect going into it because um I know the cast seemed when I tried to stay away from trailers for the most part. But I saw some short clips of it and whatnot. And I have a tendency to get stuck on really annoying characters and I have a hard time getting past that. So I was kind of thinking this sort of Gen X, I guess Gen Z more than anything, the vibe that they have, ultra modern, very, very young slang and very, very insufferable characters. I thought that was going to get in my craw and I wasn't going to be able to get past it. But the mix of the characters and how they play off of each other make it very palatable for me. And it was a really fun, really, really fun time because not only is it the dialogue's very good, it's very sharp, it's very modern. The comedy is baked right into the. It's not like they're doing joke after joke after joke. It's baked into the conversation, so it's very clever dialogue. And then at the same time, I had no idea where the story was going, which is if you watch a lot of movies and you're watching a mystery or a murder mystery or something, a lot of times you kind of get to the point where you're like, okay, I figured it was probably this guy that did it, and okay, yeah, here's what's happening. And the whole time I had no idea where it was going. And
Oh yeah.
the finale was the reveal, I should say, was very satisfying when you get to it and you're like, it retexturized the whole movie, which makes it fun
Uh,
on a rewatch too. So very, very good movie.
yeah, definitely. I did not know really anything about this going into it either. Either all I knew was that it was a raunchy comedy and that it was critically acclaimed. So that's really all I knew about it. So I didn't expect anything going into it. And I yeah the like threat in the film of Huntington. I first which I watched it twice, to get ready for this podcast.
Okay.
But on first watch, I didn't realize eyes that that was like the name of the other high school. I was thinking like that was the name of some evil person that was going around out tacky women and stuff of it. I actually thought that they were actually trying to say that that the goth guy that was in the film that shows up like three times I'm very briefly. I was thinking maybe they were trying to say he was this character, but
hmm
oh yeah, it was all very surprising to me, and I also just think. a side that I find really funny, I and really crazy is just it's just how like absurd this world is with this film because it's not. This is very clearly this is not the real world because there's no way.
What do you mean by that? It seemed pretty realistic to me.
Things like there's just absolutely no way that your teacher is gonna call over, or you're not your teacher, your principal is gonna call over the intercom. Can the two ugly gays come to my office? Like that is
I see what you
so
mean.
not professional. And then
Yeah,
you have this stuff like how they say that students from Huntington High have been
I see what you
killing
mean.
people all for years. Like how is that school not closed down at this point?
Yeah, exactly. No, it's almost like what it takes is like it's set in the real world in a way that it's almost like a version of the real world through the eyes of teen comedies that it
Hmm.
came before it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was it's like you take all the stereotypical tropes of the teen maybe sex comedy, maybe not even a sex comedy, but just kind of like the stuff that would be parodied by not
Hmm.
another teen movie and crank it up to 11 and say for example the football players that are always in football pads.
Hmm.
That's like one of the characters from Daria. I don't know how old you are if you know anything about Daria the cartoon on MTV, but
No, I don't.
one of the characters, Kevin, he was a football player and he always had his pads on, and that was the joke. And in this, all the characters are they're on the football team, not just in the jerseys, in full pads, and they're coded gay, and it's like poking fun at all these tropes and stereotypes within the movie
Uh,
world and also within the real world. It was really fun.
hmm. Oh yeah, definitely. And yeah. Something that I think is interesting. Yeah, and I understand why these football players were doing this because it was misogyny and sexism. But like, if so, they particularly say that or at least the main one who's antagonistic in the film, he's like, "You guys are taking attention away from us," which I took that to mean they were trying to say that that they don't do as well in football if they don't have like all the girls fawning over them.
I think they're just attention whores, not necessarily they're going to do better at
Uh,
sports or not. But it's
to,
funny. The funny thing about that is that when you actually see the football game, there's like a few dozen people in the crowd. It's not like at a normal football game where in the movies where you'll see the stadium's full of people. It's very sparse and it's
Mhm.
almost like the most disappointing game. And you see the actual gameplay, and they're just running around out there like what is going on? It's a it's a it's a it's like it's almost like background actors that are paid to not actually know how to play football.
But like what the point I was trying to make, which if it's not, the point doesn't really work if it's not that they thought that the girls fawning over them is what makes them do well. But like I was thinking while watching, like if you think something like that, then you should want these girls to actually get better at fighting,
Mhm.
because if Huntington kills them, they're
Mhm.
no longer there to be able to fawn over you and give you the attention you want.
That's true. I guess that makes point. That's a good point.
Oh, I think my two favorite characters in the film were are Marshawn Lynch as the teacher.
Yeah,
Eric,
he's
he
very
was
good.
absolutely hilarious. I really want to see more our films with him acting. Um, like I've
Have you seen Murderville? It's a comedy series. He was
Yes, I
really good in that
loved
too.
his his appearance in that.
Yeah.
That was so much fun. And the other, just because she's so unhinged, is Hazel. Uh-oh. I love like all the stuff with the bomb
Yeah,
and stuff like that. Like,
yeah, she's good.
oh man,
I don't think anybody in this was any performance in this was, phoned in or,
oh yeah.
half-assed. It was everybody's committed really well. I mean, Rachel Sennott is
Uh-huh.
really, really great in everything. Have you seen Shiva Baby?
No, I haven't. I want to see that at some point.
It's more tense and stressful. It is very funny, but in a, like a uncut gem sort of way where you're like kind of laughing at how bad the situation is and how deep, she keeps
Hmm.
getting deeper and deeper into this bad situation she put herself in. But that's what I first saw her in, and then that, and then Bodies, 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 and then Bottoms. And I kind of get Bodies, 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 and Bottoms crossed together because I watched them around the same time, really similar, um, you know, aimed for a very young audience, as far as like the
Yeah.
performances, or performers, I should say. But I don't know, the vibe of this movie is really kind of hard to explain overall.
Yeah.
It's kind of somewhere between super bad and not another teen movie with some idiocracy sprinkled in,
I
because
can see that.
the decisions of some of the people and the like kind of bonkers nature of
Hmm.
the way people are for example, having the one student in a cage in a classroom. You're like, that came out of left field, and you're like, he's
Uh,
just a beast, a monster in a cage, you know?
oh yeah. Then they had both in the classroom and like in the cafeteria. The whole football team gets to have this like Last Supper sort of table thing. It's
Oh yeah.
it's hilarious. And you have like at the beginning or the night after the previous night, the lead football he threatens one the girls, and the teacher's just like, you could make the thread, just don't have the you don't just don't use the glass.
Which part is that for?
The near the beginning, right after that first night, I in class, the as lead footballer, or he threatens one of the
Mm.
girls, and the teacher's like, you can make this thread, just don't break the glass.
Oh, I see. I forgot. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
it's a very strange dichotomy in the relationship with the teaching staff and the principal and all that stuff. I liked
Yeah.
Punky Johnson's character near the end. She's the one, I can't remember. She like a former teacher or something that's a gay black woman in the neighborhood, and she's kind of being this mentor
Yes.
to Io Edeberry's character. But I liked her when she popped up. I think she's
That was fun.
underused in SNL, and when I see her in other projects, she seems to be very emotional
Oh
in a good way.
yeah, definitely. Trying to think. Uh, so you're saying how I'm trying to figure out what the vibe of this is.
Hmm.
I thought it was like um American Pie but progressive.
Okay. Yeah.
I thought would and I think that's it's kind of cool, the idea of a progressive raunchy comedy. That's like you don't see
Hmm.
that very often, but I think that's a really fun idea.
Hmm.
I think what else do I want to talk about? The when they have the footballers force Hazel into this fight to I with the lead wrestler at the school.
Yeah.
Like that was so insane. And
I know
they're
it was a
trying to
ridiculous scene, and that's the kid from the cage.
yeah.
That's the same kid.
Like they're trying to say, oh, men are stronger than women, and that's not why he's better in this situation than her. No, it's because he's been training for a lot longer. He's a wrestler. Like it's not on a male or female thing. It's
Yeah.
one has had um a few weeks of training
Uh-huh.
by
By
not
a
qualified
fake trainer.
people.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's not those aren't comparable. The, oh man, and
Yeah. One of the things I think was that let me down about this, about Bottoms, was that the first act was really the high intensity, the energy, the jokes per minute were very fast, fast paced. Um, but what so like the second half of the movie just kind of slowed down a little bit, and it leads more into the exposition and the storyline, which they just don't cram as much into the middle and the end of the movie. I do like the whole heist with the bomb going over to the girl's house. That whole sequence was really, really fun. But the speed and the intensity of the first, I don't know, 30 minutes or so was so high that it's almost impossible to live up to that. Very few movies can do that. Like 21 Jump Street is
mhm,
high intensity the entire time. It just goes forever. This one let me down a little bit in that regard, but still didn't
makes
make it a
sense.
bad movie for me, but I still liked it a lot.
I think they did a good balance. Honestly, I mean, you have a bit of high intensity at the beginning, and it is a bit slower, or as the middle happens, and as we get more dialogue, more story and exposition, and but then we have it's back to high intensity for the finale,
Yeah.
where have we have this absolute insanity happening as we literally have a brawl to the death between in the two schools.
Yeah, that was the payoff there was, and it just kept going. The killing just continued. It was really funny. I think that the other one of the other interesting parts about this universe, they're talking about like this alternative universe that they're in. They specifically say that being gay isn't bad, but being gay and untalented is terrible. It's like you're the worst if you have no talent and you're gay, which is an interesting commentary on, people being able to monetize their hobby or being, you're not valid unless you're a good singer. It's like I
Mhm.
got friends that play guitar and sing. None of us, including myself, are any good, you know. Compared to someone who doesn't do that, you might say, "Oh yeah, you're good." But it's like none of us are gonna get record contracts and deals and go get famous from this. But that doesn't matter. In this universe, if you're not talented and you can't spin it into some sort of lucrative deal or, be this standout person,
Mhm.
then you're no good. And if you're gay on top of it, even worse. Boo. It's just funny because in this universe, being gay is not looked at with any pejorative status whatsoever. As soon as you add the not no talent to it, you're done. You're done. It's so fun.
Yeah.
It's a weird concept. I thought it was
Yeah.
really creative.
Oh yeah, definitely. Though it's different, but what you were just saying kind of reminded me of like the stereotype with people with autism of oh, they must be super smart, they must be super
Hmm.
talented, and like acting as if they're not valid if they're not,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
that's a stereotype that's been going on from on for since the beginning of time, probably
Yeah, yeah,
in
for sure.
entertainment and what you were saying just definitely reminded me of that ad so one thing I was wondering at the end of the film, with this weird world that they're living in, and so then it's like as I said, and if it were in our reality, Huntington High would absolutely be
Hmm.
shut down for all these killings they've done over the
Sure.
years.
But
I
then
wonder
we wouldn't have a
whether.
movie though.
Oh yeah, yes, I'm yes, as obviously, but I'm wondering. I wonder if in this universe, if there aren't laws and stuff like that. Because like you know, at the end of the film, after killing a whole bunch of people, none of our leads are like at all worried about this idea about possibly like going to jail or anything. They're just all,
Yeah, no.
go lucky, happy, happy. it kind of makes me wonder if there's no laws in this universe, which is interesting.
Yeah, maybe it's like Looney Tunes where, there are no repercussions for any of these things.
Yeah.
Wile E. Coyote can just die every episode and come right back.
Yeah.
And no one's holding anybody accountable for these war crimes.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, I know. We had there was at the end in the crowd. There was this one character who is very definitely like being shown to be, I think, supposed to be homophobic. Like he's
Hmm.
like say and he just wants to see these men and go up against each other or play football.
Oh
In
yeah.
particular way he said it, I was like, and he's like he doesn't want any of this gay shit or something like that. And I'm like,
Yeah. Now
like
let's get back to the men fighting each other in
yeah,
close
like
combat.
like the way you said that are you sure that what you're wanting is not gay?
Well,
Yeah.
there was a so it's Pride Month right now.
Yeah.
We're recording this June 16th, and there's a huge population of the actual world which are like, how come there's no straight Pride Month and blah 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 blah. It's so dumb. And
Mhm.
there's a bar in, I think, Idaho that they're saying, only straight men are allowed. You have to be wearing very specific, like a heterosexual, traditional clothes. And when you strip it down, you're like, so only men, and you have to wear manly men clothes like, muscle shirts
Mhm.
and jeans and cowboy hats. I'm like, I'm pretty sure you're just describing a gay bar, guy.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
you've gone so far around the masculinity scale, you've arrived at gay again.
Yeah, look, it reminds me of with superhero films and Star
Mhm.
Wars films, of how like people who are so against and seeing women in these films, and I'm pretty sure a lot of these people who are saying stuff like that, they're probably homophobic as well.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's
for sure.
always fun with it's funny to me because I'm like the so what you're trying to tell me is that you only um are satisfied by seeing men on screen.
Yeah. I just I
Like,
just want to see the dudes. Dudes only.
yeah, that's always just so funny to me. I'm like, you're really telling on yourself there, man.
Yeah, it's what Shakespeare said. The lady doth protest too much.
Oh man. Oh.
Yeah, super fun movie though.
Oh yeah.
It's one that it's kind of hard to recommend, I think, to people because if I were to give this to my mom or dad to watch, they would be like they would not connect with it at all. I think you have to
Hmm.
be a little bit open to the I don't know, the slang and the vibe of the younger generation.
Yeah.
And again, I thought this was going to be very draining on me. I thought it was going to be the characters were going to be so infuriating that I was going to hate it. Um, but
Yeah.
it really ended up working really well. So yeah, I'm happy I watched it. And it's I can't remember. Let me see who the director is of this one. This is Emma Seligman, who also wrote it, and it was also co-written by Rachel Sennott. And oh, Seligman also did Shiva Baby. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, total. This is way, way, way more goofy and funny than Shiva Baby. So kind of curious to see where she goes from here because those two
Yeah.
movies are both bangers in their own right.
Oh yeah, I would love to see where she goes from here. Here,
Hmm.
yeah, and something that I really love, because raunchy comedies are my favorite kind of comedy, and
Okay.
comedy is also my favorite genre. I'm really hoping that the fact that last year, we had this, we had anyone but you, we had no hard feelings.
Yeah, No Hard Feelings was good.
I'm hoping that means we're ushering a new generation of raunchy comedies and even bringing them back to the forefront because like for a while there, raunchy comedies were not like a big thing anymore. Or but then
No.
now, but last year between these three films, they were doing. really well, and I was hearing people
Yeah.
talking about them all the time.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's fun when we get like a good rom-com. This kind of feels like it's a dead genre, and or a good raunchy comedy or like sex comedy. Um, there was a what was the one? It was Jenny Slate and Charlie Day, a rom-com that came out a couple years ago. It was something about like they set each other up with each other's, lovers or something like that. I can't remember what it's called now. Um, but that was a really good rom-com.
Interesting.
Let's see, Charlie Day. Let's see what his most recent credits are. It'll tell me.
I Want You Back, I'm thinking
That's it. I
is
Want You Back. Yeah.
uh,
Really, really good rom-com. And there's a scene in that movie. Have you seen that movie?
I have not.
Okay. I'm not a huge like rom-com guy, a comedy, romantic movie aficionado in general. I do like a few of them. I think Moonstruck is one of the greatest movies ever. It's so fantastic, as well as When Harry Met Sally. Um, but like all the You've Got Mail and Sleepless in Seattle, all those movies suck. But I Want You Back is so fun, and there's a scene in it when Jenny Slate is she's kind of more or less forced into doing a rendition of Suddenly Seymour from Little Shop of Horrors at a junior high play. And she's so committed to it. She's got the big blonde hair like wig and everything too. It's so funny. But the movie in general is it feels like a movie that would have been made, 20 years ago, but with more modern sensibilities. And
Yes.
yeah, getting these good raunchy comedies or teen comedies or you
Yeah.
know, I hope there's more of them. I'm with you.
Mhm. Oh yeah. Another one like that I think actually was also last year. Here, I haven't seen it yet, and I want to. But somebody I used to know. Which is an Alison Brie film with that her husband directed. I've heard good reviews of that, and I always love of Alison Brie's comedy. And from what I've heard, that's a very raunchy film. So it's really nice.
I think I've seen this movie. Oh, so she's married to Dave Franco?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen this movie, but I can't remember anything about it. Yeah. No, that's
Hmm.
the more success we have with interesting and I guess it's funny because I want to call them unique, but we're talking about a genre that used to be very popular and we want to come back again. So I don't know if I would consider that
Yeah.
unique, but maybe like a modern refreshing on a classic genre.
Hmm.
More we
Yeah.
see success on those, maybe we'll get more.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm a part of this like fun little thing for the summer where that another podcast created where that's basically fantasy football but with movie box office is for the
Oh, that's
summer,
interesting.
and
Uh-huh.
and sadly it didn't end up working out in my favor because the film ended up being a very limited release. But one of my choices that I picked, because I was thinking, with how raunchy comedies have been coming back, then maybe choosing a raunchy comedy is one of mine. Maybe that'll end up doing really well at the box office.
Yeah.
Sadly, it
They
didn't. But
don't.
I
They
still
just
want,
don't.
uh, but
They don't do that well.
I still want to see the film. It's a film that it came out just a few weeks ago called Babes. Babes.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I haven't heard much about that. I mean, I've seen a lot
yeah,
of advertisements, but not a whole lot of critical reception.
I haven't heard much about the critical reception, but yeah, uh, uh, um, hopefully it's good. But yeah, I'm just really glad there's so many coming out these days.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there anything else about this film that you want to talk about?
Mm, no, I think we covered most of it.
All right.
Really fun, really raunchy. I mean, it's not as it could be it could be I mean even more graphic. It's not specifically graphic, which I guess is good. Um, but there's another actress in here, one that we didn't really talk about, Havana Rose Liu. She's the love interest of Io Edeberry's character, And when they have that whole like studying, romance sort of scene, I was not sure where that was going to go. I think it played out really well. But that actress in general, she's really good. I think she's really pretty,
Mm.
and she's fantastic in just about everything she's seen or I've seen her in.
Oh yeah.
There's a movie called No Exit that she was in a while ago that was a pretty small budget, very tight little
Hmm.
chamber piece sort of thriller that had some really interesting performances in it. And I think Dennis Haysbert is in it, and she was really good in that. I
Yes.
don't ever hear anybody talking about that, but No Exit. If you like her, it's worth a
Oh,
watch. But
no.
but yeah, I think that's everything I got.
Oh, the one last thing that I want to mention that I found found interesting. So they mentioned earlier in the film when they were trying to get their teacher to be the like counselor. I don't remember what the phrase was for their club. They said he asked, why don't you get one of the female teachers? Or so they were like, well, we hate them all.
Mhm.
But then and what made I found interesting, we don't end up actually seeing any of them
Hmm.
throughout the rest of the
Yeah,
film.
I guess you're right. I can't really think of any of them. Just the former
Uh,
teacher. I think she
I can't.
was Punky Johnson. Was she a teacher? A former
I
teacher?
don't know. She was there. She was
Like a coach or something?
our
PE?
two main characters babysitter when they were younger.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I don't know. My head, it's been a while since I seen seen that scene. But okay, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah,
Mm.
you're right. I guess you don't really see the teachers
Yeah,
at all,
it's
female
interesting.
teachers.
That's interesting to me. Like, I kind of wonder what makes them hate all the female teachers. Teachers.
Yeah, who knows?
So that's like I just think that would have made for a funny
I think they
scene.
hate all their
Us.
teachers. They're just trying to be nice to him.
That's true. But I think it would have made for a funny scene. Us finding out what exactly it is about their female teachers that made them not want to go to any of them. Um, the and also I really like the AO O's nickname for their former babysitter of Gay Yoda.
Yeah, Gay Yoda.
I
That's very
love
very good. Yeah,
uh, yeah, I think that's everything I have to say about this film.
cool, man.
Is there any last thing you just want to say before I end this off?
No, if any of your listeners are listening to this and you want to hear more of me talk, I have a movie podcast called Middle Class Film Class. It's me, Joseph, and Tyler. We're three close friends in real life. We record in person every Saturday, and we do it live on YouTube. So 12:30 Pacific every Saturday, we do a live stream, and we do um, first segment is called Gab and Chatter. It's movie news of the week and streaming recommendations from all three of us. And then the second half is a deep dive review into a movie that we choose from a spinning wheel of destiny. And it's kind of recorded like a morning talk show. It's very fun. It's very interactive. We read all listener mail on the air, messages in the chat that's live during the live stream, all that kind of stuff. It's very fun, and well, all three of us have very different takes, so you get a big range of movie recommendations and opinions about movies. And like I said, and we release the podcast after the live stream. We release the podcast out on YouTube and the audio stream every Monday and every Wednesday. So it's a lot of stuff. If you're looking for something to binge a ton of content, we're almost 5 years into the podcast, 2 episodes a week. So there's a lot to do, a lot to
Nice,
listen to if you want to. Yeah.
nice.
But thanks for
Sounds
having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, sounds like a lot of fun. On so definitely, hey, check out the middle class film class podcast on YouTube and I'm assuming on most major
Oh
podcast
yeah.
platforms for
And,
your
yeah, anywhere you can get this show, you can get our
yeah.
show, but also on YouTube. And we're making a big push for the YouTube. So if you're a YouTube listener or viewer, go ahead and subscribe. It's just youtube.com/ or at middle class film class. You can do the same thing. You can find that anywhere on the podcast app, middle class film class, all 4 words.
All right, all right. So Uh-oh. Thank you everyone for listening. If you like this gamma analysis, please give a 5-star review on Apple Podcast or a 5-star rating on Spotify. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the episodes. Please let me know. If you'd like to listen to more from me, please subscribe. Many more gamma analysis from me coming, so keep on the lookout. This again is your host, Smash Trivia John, signing off.